good Christmas Eve to all of you. Who's going to sleep tonight? Oh, only one. One sleeping tonight. Who's waking up super early tomorrow morning? You won't sleep. There's no sleeping at all. Meredith, what time are you going to get up tomorrow? I think she sounds a little upset, Mom and Dad. Just say it. You're sleeping until 9? Oh, wow, that's pretty impressive. Wow, well, it sounds like you guys are going to have a pretty adventurous night, some of you grown-ups in this room. So, I have a question for you guys. Tell me if you've ever felt left out, like you don't belong, like you don't fit in. Have you ever felt that way? I know I have. Grown-ups, have you ever felt that way? Like there's a moment in your life when you just feel like, I don't fit in, or I don't belong, or I'm not good enough. Maybe at school you don't get picked for the team, or maybe it's like everyone else seems to get the math, or the spelling, or the reading, and you have no clue what's going on, and you don't really want to say, I don't understand. I think we've all have felt that way before. Like we just don't fit in, we don't belong. We're the last to know about everything. So tonight, our nativity story, our story of the birth of Jesus, I'm going to tell you about a group of people in the story, the shepherds, who understand what that feels like. It feels like to not belong, to not fit in. So I'm going to read this story for you, and I want to see if maybe you guys kind of understand where they're coming from. So it says, snores and snuffles filled the cool air as a flock of sheep snuggled in the grass. In the distance, the city glowed. Across the field from the sheep, the shepherds chattered around the campfire. Shepherding was a job for the young, probably not much older than most of you. Shepherding was a job for the young, and most of them were the babies of the family. Who here is the baby of your family? Babies unite. I am the baby. I mean, we kind of have it pretty good, don't you think? Us babies. I think the ones that are laughing out there giggling, they're not the babies. They don't understand how good it is to be the baby of the family. But mostly the shepherds are the babies of the family, the youngest. And gathered there, they looked like their own kind of flock. Some tall and lean, and some were short and round. But each of them had really strong legs and were quick with a sling. "Phew, you stink," one shepherd said to her friend. "We're shepherds. Stinking is the best part of the job." And they all giggled. Because shepherding was dirty, smelly work, and most of the important people wanted nothing to do with this flock of kids. And that's why they were all there, sleeping in the fields outside of town with the grass as their mattress and the stars as their blanket. Yawning and cozy, the shepherds began to settle in for the night, but a sudden flash of light startled all of them. Like a star visiting Earth, someone appeared next to the campfire, glowing brighter and warmer than its flames. The shepherds screamed and fell to the ground as the sheep looked on. This was not like any person they had ever seen before. The someone shimmered and shone with a voice like a warm wind. "Don't be afraid. I have good news to share with you that will fill everyone's heart with delight. Tonight, in your little town, a baby has been born. He's the one you've been waiting for, the Messiah." The shepherd girls and boys peeked up from their hiding places to peer at the messenger. "It must be an angel," they whispered to one another. "Oh my goodness, this will be the sign for you. You'll find this special baby all wrapped up and sleeping in a feeding trough." At that, they began to laugh hysterically, because the idea of this baby being so special that it was put in a place where animals would snort and drool and gobble their food. How ridiculous, they thought. But the giggles faded away as the wonder of the sky burst with riotous color of harmony, like 1,000 suns rising, gold, lavender, orange, pink, crimson. The angels crowded to the horizon. Hundreds, millions, of gazillions, all singing with gleeful celebration. Oh, what a celebration it was. It would have squeezed and stretched your heart if you had been there. Like the most beautiful sight you'd ever seen and the most wonderful song you'd ever heard at the same time. The sheep, the angels, the shepherds danced and cried and stared and sang. And when the final note faded away, and the last ribbon of light was gone, the shepherds all spoke at once and said, "Whoa, was that real? What is that, a dream? The Messiah is here. Why'd they tell us? Nobody tells us anything. We are of no importance." And they cried because their eyes had seen something of heaven, and they grinned with that shy, special mix of disbelief and pride, and the feeling important for the very first time in their lives. Can you imagine what that feels like, to be always the most unimportant person in the world? And then finally, the biggest news that ever had happened, they told you, and you, and you, and you. The story of the stinky kids, the kids that didn't belong, and that were the first to know about Jesus, it's the opposite of what we thought would happen, right? Like, if that happened today, we would think the most powerful, the most important people would know first. But these were the most unimportant people. It's like, it didn't matter that they didn't have status or perfection. It didn't matter at all. It was about them being willing to listen and follow. And I think that's a really cool part of tonight's nativity story. You guys are welcome to go back to your seats and sit with your grown-ups. And I gave you all some bags. If you didn't get a bag to keep your hands kind of occupied, there's some in the back if you want to grab one.